fresh out the oven.
What is cracking, everybody? It's Pieman here, and welcome to another episode of In the Booth with Pieman, the short-running series so far of where I record voice acting auditions and do so on video because I can. Usually I end up with tons of backlog of auditions that I don't get roles for, and I don't know what to do with them all, so I've just decided that, hey, we'll do a little bit of behind-the-scenes thing here, and we'll record me recording them, and then I'll put them on YouTube, and maybe people will be interested, and maybe somebody will see one and hire me. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, the first episode of this was rather long, so I want to try and keep this shorter. I think shorter is better for this series. But I've got about 4 different projects here on 2 different websites, the Casting Call Club and the Voice Acting Club forums. And let's get into it, shall we? So this is for a project called Null Hack, which is a variant of NetHack. I have heard, I don't, is NetHack like that cyberpunk card game? I think. I'm not sure. Let's find character auditions here. There are 3 male characters for this one. I think I'm only going to do the first 2. The Lord Carnarvon. Carnarvon. There we go. And Minion of Huitolt. Carnarvon, Huitolt. I might do the other one. I think the other one's just my normal voice. But like 50, 20, 10, the prices keep going down. So if I can get Lord Carnarvon, that would be great. All right. Well, let's see what we got here. Only going to do a couple of these. Oh, he's only got 3 lines here. Okay. Human male, senior, professor of archaeology. Professor of archaeology. Perhaps a voice something like that will work. Let's get to recording, shall we? Grave times have befallen the college, for the minion of Huitolt has stolen the orb of detection. Huitolt. Grave times have befallen the college, for the minion of Huitolt has stolen the orb of detection. Without it, the board of directors of the university will soon have no choice but to revoke our research grants. The silver bell which was hoarded by the minion of hoarded? Is that right? Yeah. The silver bell which was hoarded by the minion of Huitolt. The silver bell which was hoarded by the minion of Huitolt will be essential in locating the amulet of Yendar. The amulet of Yendor. The amulet of Yendor. Adventurer! I've heard that you've been using sloppy techniques. Read it correctly. Adventurer! I've heard that you've been using sloppy techniques. Your results lately can hardly be called sustainable, suitable. Read the words. Adventurer! I've heard you've been using sloppy techniques. Your results lately can hardly be called suitable for an archaeologist. Let's listen to that back and see if that sounds half decent. Adventurer, I've heard you've been using sloppy techniques. Your results lately can hardly be called suitable for an archaeologist. I think that works. Grave times have befallen the college, for the minion of Huitolt has stolen... Trying to get that somewhat older whisper sound, usually when, I guess, maybe a little bit stereotypical for older sounding voices to be a bit whispery and as if they're not quite as confident, which isn't always the case. I mean, there are a lot of real life voices where the older guys are quite as confident as everybody else, but it doesn't get across vocally their age necessarily. Although I suppose we can try a voice somewhat like this. Give it a second to take. Grave times have befallen the college, for the minion of Huitolt has stolen the orb of detection. Without it, the board of directors of the university will soon have no choice but to revoke our research grants. The silver bell which was hoarded by the minion of Huitult The silver bell which was hoarded by the minion of Huitult will be essential in locating the amulet of Yendor. Adventurer, I've heard that you've been using sloppy techniques. Your results lately can hardly be called suitable for an archaeologist. Perhaps that'll work as well. Your results lately can hardly be called suitable for an archaeologist. Perhaps. Alright, now what do we want the minion to sound like? It's supposed to be a demon, middle-aged. So perhaps a bit more. Maybe something like this. We'll give it a try. So, adventurer, you think you could I lost my place in the words. So, adventurer, you think that you can succeed in recovering the Orb of Detection, where your teacher, Lord Carnarvon, has already failed? Come, try your best! I shall destroy you and gnaw on your bones! Again you try to best me, eh, adventurer? Well, you shall fall again. You shall never recover the Orb of Detection. I shall bear your soul to the plane of origins for my master's pleasure. Tiring yet, adventurer? I draw my power from my master and cannot falter. I kind of like that. Tiring yet, adventurer? I draw my power from my master and cannot falter. Maybe try a bit more of a normal. So, adventurer, you think you can succeed in recovering the Orb of Detection when your teacher, Lord Carnarvon, has already failed. Come, try your best. I shall destroy you and gnaw on your bones. Again you try to best me, eh, adventurer? Well, you shall fail again. You shall never recover the Orb of Detection. I shall bear your soul to the plane of origins for my master's pleasure. Tiring yet, adventurer? I draw my power from my master. You do that a bit louder. Tiring yet, adventurer? I draw my power from my master and cannot falter. I don't know why I always go to someone. Tiring yet, adventurer? I draw my power from my master and cannot falter. Yeah. I don't know why I always go somewhat British when it comes to more, I don't know how to say, more professional voices, I suppose. But there we go. We got a monster-y version, and we got a normal-y version. Student male quest guardian. Just do a normal voice for this guy, and that should be it for this project. Did you see the artifact Lord Carnarvon brought back from the last dig? So you're Lord Carnarvon's prized pupil. I don't know what he sees in you. I need to be a bit more snidey. So you're Lord Carnarvon's prized pupil, I don't know what he sees in you. The Orb of Detection is impressive, but nothing like the bones I dig up. Did you see the artifact Lord Carnarvon brought back from the last dig? So you're Lord Carnarvon's prized pupil? So you're Lord Carnarvon's prized pupil. I don't know what he sees in you. The Orb of Detection is impressive, but nothing like the bones I dig up. So you're Lord Carnarvon's prize pupil. I don't know what he sees in you. That should work. The orb of detection is impressive, but nothing like the bones I dig up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. What is the next project to be called for? Foreteller Games. They're looking for quite a few here. They want character voices, though. There's only one line apiece. We're at 10 minutes right now? It's more than enough time. 5 script, okay. Has inexplicably been torn into an alternate dimension and sees something in the distance. What's that floating there? It sounds beautiful. The stars, the voices. What is a foreteller? Maybe. Grumbles the bear. What is... It doesn't quite fit the name Grumbles. Who needs you? What is that floating there? It sounds beautiful. The stars, the voices. What is a foreteller? Okay, Charlie the Wizard. The show about a carnival begin presenting their wares to the crowd. Narration so wonderful it can hardly be perceived. Bring characters to life like magic. Whoops, not that kind of magic. I think that'll work. Kind of like that break in the whoops. Because he accidentally brings somebody that brings the dead back to life. So sort of like he's losing his composition there. Composition? Composition. Is that the word? Yes. Maybe. I don't know. Zorgrim the Shape Changer. He's a baddie with a sting of horrible events, pretty confident for a field mouse. Or are they? A field mouse. Alas, mortal, today's your last. But at least you get to experience the sheer ecstasy that is being destroyed by beautiful waves of sound. I don't know about that voice. It's like if you ever played Alice Miner's Returns, it's like the dormouse from that. From the section, that section there. A good worker is a live worker, free to live and work. But at least you get to experience the sheer ecstasy that is being destroyed by beautiful waves of sound. I mean, the dormouse is a mouse, and this guy, I think, is a field mouse. That's what they said. Alas, mortal, today's your last. I don't know, that voice is ridiculous. I'm going to go with it. Why not? Joe the Farmer, trying their best to create a commercial for their project, but really isn't a skilled speaker. Alright, let's see what we can do here. All audio is organically sourced and natural. You just sound like you're reading. All audio is organically sourced and natural. The audio farmers select only the ripest tracks for plugin. And that's why they're so sweet. Foreteller Games, listening to the future of fun. Does that sound unprofessional? And that's why they're so sweet. Foreteller Games, listening to the future of fun. All audio is organically sourced and natural. All audio is organically sourced and natural. The audio farmers select only the ripest tracks for plugin. We'll try something like that, like you're reading off of a page. All audio is organically sourced and natural. The audio farmers select only the ripest tracks for plugin. And that's why they're so sweet. Foreteller Games, listening to the future of fun. Really isn't a skilled speaker. Foreteller Games, listening to the future of fun. It's kind of sort of robotic. Kind of like the ads in Ghostbusters 2, where they're purposefully bad. All right, what's the last one we have here? Red the Garner on their deathbed. Very emotional. Red says their final words. Here it is, the dawn of my death. Of death, not my. Here it is, the dawn of death. You betrayed me, partner. All my friends are dead too. Now I go to them. I hope you can live with yourself. Here it is, the dawn of death. You betrayed me, partner. All my friends are dead too. Now I go to them. I hope you can live with yourself. I like that second one better. All my friends are dead too. Now I go to them. I hope you can live with yourself. A little bit quiet there on the end, but I can always boost that in post. Let's see what the next thing we have here. Narrator for The Tale of Heinrich Hopper. That example is the narrator for The Darkest Dungeon. Bits and baubles, paid for in blood. Yeah, that's sort of the Darkest Dungeon-y voice. I can't get it quite exactly because that guy's voice is amazing, but we'll give it a shot. One day, however, tucked away between dirt and dust, dear Heinrich found a certain book that captivated him in a way that none yet had. Its torn and weathered pages chronicled some sort of ancient custom, a sport said to have been practiced across socialites of all recorded epochs. A grim fate has befallen my dear son. I take it to... A grim fate has befallen my dear son. I take it you remember Heinrich. He was an inquisitive young man. Many of his A grim fate has befallen my dear... You know what, let's load up the example and see how that sounds. This guy's voice is amazing, by the way. If you haven't played Darkest Dungeon.
Purple house, opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor.
Opulent and imperial.
I lived
gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor.
All my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor.
I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor. One day, however, tucked away between dirt and dust, dear Heinrich found a certain book that captivated him in a way that none yet had. Its torn and weathered pages chronicled some sort of ancient custom, a sport said to have been practiced across societies. Societies? A sport said to have been practiced across societies of all recorded epochs. A grim fate has befallen my dear son. I take it you remember Heinrich. He was an inquisitive young man. Many of his afternoons spent cooped up in the study of our old manor. Countless books lined those old walls, and so knowledge was in no short supply. Though, while studies, it never was to an end. Though, while studious, it never was to any end. His efforts had gained him naught but turmoil. I must admit that I, perturbed and abashed, grew neglectful towards my son. Is that a bit too cheesy? His efforts had gained him naught but turmoil. I must admit that I, perturbed and abashed, grew neglectful towards my son. No, I don't think that's too cheesy. I think that'll work. Yeah, that'll work. All right. What is the last one we're doing here? Dwarfs. Oh, this is the fun one. Okay, so they're doing this project is a cover of A Long Way to the Top by AC/DC, but making it sound, or making it for Deep Rock Galactic. So they're supposed to sound like dwarves. They're supposed to sound like dwarves. To the tune. To the tune? What is that voice? Power up the drop pod. Yeah. That's what we're looking for there. Make it sound. How's that song go? Okay. That's with the original AC/DC singer as well, not the You've been thunderstruck guy. Alright, let's give it a shot. Got to get my dwarf voice going on. Dwarf. Do I want to roll the R's? Maybe. Power up the drop pod. Going down below. Stop at the Abyss Bar. Grab a drink and go. Breaking rock. Moving stone. Grabbing nitra. Minding gold. Griffith Swarm. On the way. Stop your whining. It's time to earn your pay. That's fun. I think that's the tune. Let's listen to that back. Power up the drop pod. Going down below. Stop at the Abyss Bar. Grab a drink and go. Breaking rock. Moving stone. Grabbing nitra. Minding gold. Griffith Swarm. On the way. Stop your whining. It's time to earn your pay. I mean, they're supposed to be dwarves. I don't know if they actually want them to sing well necessarily. I did check out the examples they had. One example was that Diggy Hole song, which the guy actually has a very good singing voice, or at least a decent singing voice. And the other one were just examples of lines from Deep Rock Galactic, and they kind of just sound like that. There's a few in there where they put a little bit of singing into it, but it's not really like singing. It's more like, bar singing. People who can't sing trying to anyway. And I think that voice fits that. So there we go. There are a couple more audition projects. Thank you for joining me for this episode of In the Booth with Pieman, which actually is not in a booth because I don't have a recording booth. Though I call it In the Booth anyway, because it sort of makes sense. Let me know what you guys think of my auditions today in the comment section below. If you would like to hire me, that would be amazing. You can contact me at megapiemans@gmail.com if you would like me to audition for your stuff. And that's about it. So thank you very much. And I'll talk to you guys later.